In this video, I'm going to be breaking down a few Invisible Woman plays that I've had, but more with the focus on using her push and her pull. So I really do think her push and her pull is one of her best abilities, and if used correctly, can easily swing a fight in your team's direction. Most of these clips are taken in a high Celestial or Eternity lobby, so hopefully most of the people know what they're doing. I'll just put it at that. But yeah, these should be some pretty good clips, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So to start this clip off, what I'm doing here is, and just pausing this real quick, what I'm doing here is whenever there's a ledge, I'm always trying to focus on pushing people off that ledge, right? It's pretty obvious her push is really, really good for just instantly killing people if they're next to ledges. So especially on maps like this or any other map that's gonna have a ledge, this is a very popular ledge to push people off of. But you'll notice that most of the time in the clip, I'm angling myself to really just be looking at the ledge, and so if people cross my sights, I can easily push them off. So that's the main focus of what I'm trying to do here. And so that's why we're kind of positioning ourselves over here, and we actually get a massive double push. We're able to get the Hela and Magneto. This is actually like one of my favorite clips. I took a lot of pride in this. But off that, we should just win the fight automatically. I mean, I don't think, I don't know why we shouldn't, but of course we have to push another person. Bucky, same exact idea, right? Like we looked at this little pit here, right when our push came up, and Bucky was the unfortunate soul that ended up crossing our sight lines, and we were able to push him off as well. So pretty much every single time you're next to a cliff like this, that's the play you should be looking for 9 times out of 10. Just looking to push people off that, angling yourself and positioning yourself to the point where you can do that. And I always make sure I tell my teammates that too. I've actually been pushed off myself, but it's always good to be aware of that, especially if you're up against an invisible woman. But here, I'm like, okay, we have to win this fight now, so we're going to push up a little bit. And just sit in the back here, sit behind our shield, and make sure we're just healing everybody. Your shield is really one of the best spots to sit behind because it's a freaking shield. Just use it, abuse it. And, of course, it heals you as well. So it allows me to kind of just, be safe and stay in one area. So we're able to kill the Venom, and we're pushing up here. And we end up winning the game. The big thing here is I believe that we won this game because I was able to push all those people off the cliff. That was the big thing for me. And yeah, I mean, look how happy I am here. I'm just having a good time. Like, yo, we pushed somebody off. This is awesome. But now let's go ahead and get to the next clip. But just to continue on this point, I mean, I have a lot of these kinds of clips, especially on this part. Just to continue on this right here, we jump behind the cap because he was trying to push us off, and then we use that to push him off. You see what we do here? And it's the same exact thing with even this clip. Right here, they're pressing the convoy. We're on the opposite side this time. But here, I'm always just looking for this. Every time you play this corner, you always want to look for it. And so that's the thing I see a lot of Invis not do enough. Is just pushing people off the map or really looking for it. Like, you have to set up the opportunity yourself. You have to set up the play yourself. It's all you. So you just got to make sure you do that. And I also don't want you to think that you guys can only push off that one particular cliff. So we'll do another clip and show this one here. But same exact thing, right? We're looking for this opportunity after here. We throw our left shift down and we see Groot. Perfect opportunity. We look for the push off the map. So we're just kind of holding it and waiting for that moment every single time. So another really, really, really good use case of Invis E is going to be your pulls. So I often say that Invis pulls are the ones that end up setting up plays for your team to kind of capitalize off of. And then her pushes are oftentimes used to disrupt enemy plays, so they can't capitalize off of that, right? So in particular, this time we're looking for pulls that are going to be able to pull people out of their escapes. And this is really going to be effective against tanks in particular, because tanks want to step up and they might rely off their escape to sort of like back off. And so I'm going to show you like a series of clips that just showcases how strong our pull can actually be in a fight and, how you should be looking for it. So to start this clip off here, we're just doing a normal thing, just healing and all that kind of jazz. We get blinded and we notice that this enemy Strange is to the right here, so we actually just push him off to give ourselves a little bit of room, a little bit of breathing room, so he doesn't capture point or like try to stay on point. But once our E comes back up here, we see that Strange jumps up here. So whenever I see Strange jump up here, what I want to do is I want to pull him back, right? Because he just used his escape. So this guy is a dead man walking at this point if he gets landed on, or when he lands back on us, right? He should just die. And if he doesn't, you did your job. That's the DPS fault. But he should die here. So you always want to be looking and predicting when he's going to do this and try to look for this. Now, there are a lot of times, especially in higher elo lobbies, where like the Strange will jump up and he'll end up shielding himself and you can't pull through a shield. So oftentimes you might have to wait for that. Same thing with like Mag Bubble or Mag Shield. So you might have to wait for that. But in this case, I saw my opportunity. Strange didn't have his shield up, or he didn't have it up yet. And so I was able to pull him back. And this pull just guarantees us the kill, right? We end up getting the kill. Cloak gets a really, really good E on him, and he ends up dying. And so, of course, this concept isn't just going to apply to Strange. It's going to apply to a bunch of different characters as well. Another character it's going to apply to is Hulk, right? Like, Hulk he can jump around a ton, so it's not going to automatically consume his cooldown. Like, he'll get it back up, but it sets you up for the kill, or sets him up for the kill, right? Sets your team up to be able to kill him. So in this clip, after I'm just jumping around a little bit, Hulk kind of comes out and he jumps away, but then we pull him right back in, right there, right? And look at those little penny mines. I mean, this is a beautiful play. But we're able to make an insane play because we're able to hit this pull. So you just, like, the point of this video is to show you that you shouldn't just be casting your E whenever you want to. I mean, you can do that. It's on a fairly low cooldown. I think it's like 8 to 10 seconds. But the point is to hold your E for specific situations like this one, for example, to give your team the opportunity to capitalize off of it. Let's go ahead and go on to another clip. All right, this next clip is going to feature Venom. Now, Venom, I did this in a practice with a friend because this is actually kind of hard to do in the game. I've done it a few times. I don't really have any clips to show you guys, though, unfortunately. But this one's a little bit harder to do because Venom's like swinging around like super fast, but you can pull Venom out of his swing, and actually it consumes his swing, which is really, really cool. Now here we have like infinite cooldowns on, just to, you know, do this back and forth, but essentially you can pull him out, it'll cancel his swing and actually consume the cooldown so he can't swing away. So especially at higher elo level lobbies, this is really, really, really good against those Venom players because Venom's getting played a lot right now, but it takes some practice to hit. Now you can extend this concept to even more characters, obviously, that aren't just tanks. For example, Wolverine. Wolverine's a great character. If you guys play at a high level, you know he typically gets picked or banned almost every game. And so with Sue, you can hold your pull and pull him out of a kidnap, such as what's about to happen right now. We pull him out of that kidnap and we actually save Punisher. And I don't think we kill Wolf here, but we're able to essentially get his passive out. The same exact thing happens in this clip. Here we're just on, I think this is Midtown. We're just healing up everybody. We see Wolf around the corner to the left, and we see him pull our Groot, and then we pull him right back in. Right, so this is really, this is a really good concept to understand, especially if you're against the Wolf. Make sure you're saving those pulls. Now, to extend this concept a little bit, it's not just about pulling people out of their escapes, but another big thing is pulling people off ledges. Most of these maps are going to have ledges to them, and yes, typically high ground is the advantage in most games, but when you're against an Invis woman, it might not be the advantage, right? Because she can actually pull you off of high ground and into her team, such as what I'm about to show you in some of these clips. So here, I see right up to this top right, my Hulk is doing a good job of giving us some information, and we see a couple people over here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my E and try to pull them off the second that they get close enough to the ledge. And that's exactly what we do. Now we have both of these guys floating right down towards us. It's like bees to honey almost, right? Like they're dead for sure. And actually Wolf I think gets out, but Captain America's gone, bro. He's a goner. In any case though, look for those opportunities, right? It's not just about pulling Wolf out of jump or out of his ambush. It's about, his kidnap. It's about pulling people off ledges as well. Another really good example of this is, I believe this is the other Midtown map. This is a really good height that people like to play, at least when you initially are playing convoy and you're initially getting out of your spawn area. People, especially the defense, love to play this height, and so you kind of have to fight over this height sometimes. But here, this is where Invis Woman, again, she shines, because if someone's playing this window and they're close enough, you pull them right into your team. And this is actually what happens with, I believe, Star-Lord. We heal ours, and then we actually pull theirs right into our team. This is an insane pick. So we're able to kill him.
Oh, nice. Oh my gosh.
Now, finally, when we talk about pulling, we went over, a bunch of use cases, right? Pulling people out of their escapes. We went over pulling Wolverine out of his kidnap. We went over pulling people off ledges to set your team up for kills. And the last major use case I'm going to go with her pull is whenever she ults. So in this clip here, we are sitting back healing our teammates, but then we notice we hear Strange ulting, so we do a quick ult, okay? And by the way, side note, this is why I love Adam with Invis, because even if you get ulted in Invis ult, Adam Soulbond, if he gets it off too, it'll save you from Strange bursting you when Strange ults you, which is awesome. So that's how we're able to live here. But here, what I end up doing is I end up pulling these guys back, right? Because Invis Woman ult isn't just a massive buff for your team, right? Giving you guys, making you guys invisible, giving you guys HP and all that kind of stuff, but it also debuffs the enemy team by slowing them. So I want to keep them in the ult field as long as possible because we're practically immortal. They're not, but they're also getting slowed, which means it's much easier to hit them and hopefully kill them. And so every time we Invis Woman ult, we always pull people in. And then of course, another case for Invis Woman is being able to pull people into your teammates' ults, right? So here, we're gonna jump in, we're gonna ult the point, Moon Knight ults, and then if you notice, we just pulled like a whole bunch of people back in, right? Or anybody that tried to like run away, we kind of pulled them in. And so it's just like these kinds of concepts that you just have to think about. I'm not gonna go over any more clips on her pulling because I think we all get the idea. Point is, there's a lot of use cases for it, a lot of setup for it, and it's up to you to sort of decide how you should be playing it and when to hold and all that kind of stuff. Predict. It's about prediction, right? Predict, like if your teammate's about to go ult, try to hold your eat because you know it's like, hey, I want to pull people into my teammate's ult, such as what's going on here. If you know Wolverine's on the field on the enemy team and he's about to ambush somebody, hold your pull, right? And then hit him with it. Same thing. Another good combo I would say is Groot and Invis, right? Because Groot's going to be able to trap people in, especially tanks. So oftentimes tanks want to play like Doctor Strange. They want to swap up to Strange because Strange can actually fly over those walls. Well, what happens when Strange flies over those walls and he doesn't have a shield? Pull him right back in, baby. That's what we're going to do, okay? So like that could be a good combo as well. Point is, a lot of use cases for it. Got to think about it. Load up. You see who the enemy team is. Think about like what you saw in this video on how to pull people, on where you should be pulling people, and well, you'll get a lot more kills. Your team will be very happy, and you'll probably win more games too. Sometimes they say you save the best for last, and this one, well, I'll leave that up to you to decide. The reason why I put this concept at the very last part of this video is because I feel like a lot of people understand this concept already, but I think this clip and the follow-up clips I'm going to show illustrate really good times to use or push. So this is all about prediction and all about predicting the enemy ultimate. And so in this case, in this clip, it's really going to be about Doctor Strange. So as an Invis Woman player, you counter Strange really, really hard because every time he wants to ult, you push him back and you kind of disrupt the play. And so this is part of like that predictive behavior you have to understand, and you have to know when he's going to ult or like kind of when he has ult, and you want to sort of save your push for it. And so this is why I'm not like ripping my push off cooldown, because I know he's looking for it and I'm looking for it. So the goal of this play was like, Dash, why are you jumping into enemy Invis Woman ult? Very, very good example. I'm going to go ahead and ult this. And the reason why I jump in here is because oftentimes the enemy Strange wants to use their Invis Woman ult as sort of a shroud, a cloak, to kind of hide what they're about to do, which is ult. So what Stranges will do is they'll oftentimes ult in their Invis Woman ult and then like fly out of it coming at you, and at that time it's a little bit too late to react. So what I like to do is I like to either if we're all backed up, it's fine, if we're like out of range, out of the vicinity, but oftentimes what I'll do is I'll go into the enemy Invis Woman ult, hopefully we have a Luna ult or I'll ult myself, and what we'll end up doing is I'll be watching the Strange the whole time, okay? And the reason being is because whenever you have an ult like this, typically what enemies want to do, especially Stranges because they stun you, is they want to ult you at the last second of your ult. And that's because they're doing it because everybody's still inside your ult, so everybody's still in like one area, if that makes sense, but they know that the enemy ultimate's about to end. So here in this play, the entire time we're looking at the Strange, and I even call it out like I'm looking for his ult, and then he jumps up, we flick, and we're able to actually push him away. And by the way, this is really good by the enemy Strange, because if you like jump up in an enemy Invis Woman's face like this, it makes it a lot harder for them to push you because you have to kind of like flick up and aim it, right? So luckily we were able to do that here. Got the little flick off, but that entire time I'm playing for that, right? I'm playing to do that to Strange, and then he gets mag bubbled afterwards. Luckily that mag bubble didn't come prior to that. If it did, then of course I wouldn't have been able to push him. That's what they end up doing like the rest of this game. But regardless, that idea, that concept was there. And so you have to be looking for this, especially when you're playing Invis Woman and you're like in your own ult, right? Or if your team is in the enemy Invis Woman ult and you're next to it, you have to be prepared that a Strange is going to be flying at you from above. Now, another idea of when to push is when the enemy has a Wolverine. But wait a minute, didn't we already go over like pulling Wolverine? Yes, we did, right? We want to pull him out of his jump. However, what about when he ults? Well, let's find out. What do we want to do when Wolv ults? We can push him, right? And that's exactly what happens in this clip. So here we see the enemy Wolverine is about to get a good ult in any second. There it is. See, look at this. Ooh, man, this is looking so big for him. It's like nothing that we can do anything about this. Oh, wait a minute. We push him right off, right? So if you know, just like Strange ult, if you know Wolverine's about to have his ult and you know it's coming up, and you just have to think about this stuff. Again, it's predictive behavior, right? You have to be thinking about this. Hold that push, because then look what happens. Wolv gets his ult off, we push him right off his ult, and everybody's just alive. we just prevented him from getting a triple kill. It's the same thing with this play. Going back to this clip, see, I didn't show you this clip fully earlier, all right? And that's because I wanted to hide this little, this little extra play that happened. But going back to this clip that we did when we pulled the people off the ledges, Wolf has his ult. Look, he gets a massive ult here, and we just hit him with the push off, right? So, like, we're holding this push again for the Wolverine. Well, maybe we were holding it for something else, but like the idea is that we have push and we want to push them off, right? And that's what we do, and we end up saving everybody's lives. And we just get all this nice AoE healing because we talked about this earlier, like Invis Woman AoE healing's OP, then we jump in and all, and yeah, we still somehow don't get this point. Point being is that we're saving our push for the Wolverine in this case. So again, look at their team. It's like looking at their team comp, right? Like, who do they have? Let's see, like Strange can jump out, we can pull, Strange can ult us, we got to push, all that kind of jazz. And these would be the major times I would really be looking for pushes and pulls. And just around this video out, remember what we talked about earlier? The pulls were really setting up for our teammates and for ourselves, to setting up opportunities to get picks, right? To make plays. And then the pushes were really just disrupting and preventing enemies from making their plays. Except if you were pushing people off ledges, that's just kind of cheating. A mess. But like, besides that, it's just about recognizing those certain opportunities and really executing them. And this, like, this goes beyond just healing, right? Like, this is physically making actual plays for your teammates. This is why I love this character so much, by the way. This is why, like, I think she's one of the best, if not the best healer in the game. And also why she's my favorite, because of all these different situational plays that you can make with her. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned a lot from it. And if you, didn't feel good about pulling and pushing with Invis before, hopefully you do now. And I hope I explained it pretty clearly. If you guys want me to go over like any other concepts when it comes to supports like Invis Woman or maybe some of the other supports in the future, just let me know in the comments below. I'll be happy to take a look into them. But until the next video, see ya.
Go forward.
You're good, you're good. Let me know when it's about to go. I'll push him off.
Huge push.
Oh, he did. Oh, I would've got one.
That's all good. I got down. Two.